Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. However, before we go any further, I would like to thank you guys sincerely for, well, the amount of support on the channel. The Reiju deck profiler, as you can see on the screen here, or wherever the fuck I decided to put it, has been, well, popping the fuck off. 1.5k views and a lot of interaction has, well, made me want to make more videos, and, well, here we are. I would like to show you guys one of the decks I have been very much enjoying if I'm not playing some of my more meta sheep level decks like Purple Luffy and Blackbeard. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Gear 5 OP09 Luffy. Definitely one of my more fun decks to play, but definitely still a force to be reckoned with if played correctly. In this video, I'm going to show you, obviously, my ratios based on my testing and, well, my personal use, as well as the combos and, well, some of the things you should be doing on your curve if you go first or if you go second. So let me show you what we're doing today. Before I actually get into the cards that we use in the deck, I should probably explain to you what the leader itself does, as it is a very center point of the deck. All the while, you have one Don attached to him. All characters you control gain +1 cost. So a 1 cost becomes a 2 cost, 2 cost becomes a 3 cost, so on and so forth. That effect applies on both players' turns. So if your opponent is playing black or is playing some more specific cost type removal, they need to keep this in mind, and a lot of people do actually forget about it. On my turn, or on your turn should I say, once per turn, when 2 or more Don is returned from the field back to the deck, I can add up to 1 Don as active and 1 Don as rested. This effect can happen in 2 different types of instances. You either put 2 Don back at the exact same time to trigger the effect, or you can put 1 Don back in one instance, and then on the second instance of a Don returning back to the deck, you can ramp up to 1 active and 1 rested. This effect is very prominent in a lot of instances, as well, you will see in a couple moments, as well as, believe it or not, the +1 cost effect does actually matter a fair bit. So, let me explain the cards to you. We are first off on the Straw Hat portion of the deck. We are on 4 copies of 1-drop Searcher Lore. Like in Purple Luffy, this card is fucking amazing. On play, you can look at the top 4 cards of the deck, reveal a Straw Hat Crew or a Hearts Pirates type character with a cost of 2 or more, add it to your hand, place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. This card is really good if you can see on turn 1 to search one of the cards coming up. However, the thing that always trips me up and always trips up a lot of people is that you cannot search Gum Giant with it, which thank fuck you cannot. We are also on one of the couple 2Ks of the deck. We are on 4 copies of Usahachi. This is one of the few decks that you will also hard play Usahachi to get rid of some nasty, annoying motherfucking blockers, such as Sabo, 4-drop Boa, and a couple of others. Obviously, he constitutes as the searchable Straw Hat 2K of the deck, like in Purple Luffy. Then we have definitely a new card you probably don't see as often, and that's a 3-drop 5k Zoro. On play, you can return 1 or more Don back to the deck at any given time. Well, it has to be on play. And you can set up to 1 Don as active. A lot of the time, you are using this on your 3 Don turn to eventually ramp up to 4 Don by using his ability and, well, combining it with leader ability if you happen to search it off of lore. Then we are onto the only black Straw Hat card of the deck, which does make me mildly upset. That is 4 copies of 5-drop Sanji from ST14. I never liked this card all that much until I started to properly understand the way it was supposed to work, like on your 6 Don turn and forward. So on play, if you have a character with a cost of 6 or more on your field, you can count to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. This card's sort of restriction where it has to be a character with a cost of 6 or more does include himself. So on your 6th Don turn, you can attach a Don to leader ability and play him, and you will be able to KO something. He's one of the few cards that I have wanted to try and figure out the ratios for. 4 seems to be fine for now, but I definitely could put it down to 3. We have one of the other cards, and that is a 4-drop Frankie. This is one of the few cards that unfortunately just does not appear in other decks. It only appears in this one. On play, he is a blocker. He is a 4-cost 5k. And on Don -2, you also have to trash a card as well, very similar to Gum Giant. And you draw 2 cards. Simple as. You can filter your hand as well as update your leader ability or uptick 1, ramp 1, whatever the fuck it may be. Then we have probably one of the best cards in this deck at the moment. That is 7-drop Sanji. On play, you can return 1 or more Don from the field back to the deck. This character gains Rush, and then I can rush the character with a cost of 6 or less. This card's really good as well. It triggers leader ability. You will start to notice a very quick theme on this. You can also rest a Sabo, a Rebecca, a Boa. You can literally rest any blocker in the game, excuse me. And well, it's just a really good card. Also, for some godforsaken reason, he has a 1k counter on a 7-drop 7k with Rush. Then we are on to kind of the smaller cards of the deck, or the smaller ratio. So we are on to 2k Sanji. He is here just for another 2k, to be perfectly honest. Sometimes you do play him, sometimes you don't. It's not often he comes up. It's not like in Purple Luffy where you are definitely going to play him at least once, and he's also another searchable 2k for you. The next card is one I'm not too sure on, but I do like having him around, and that specifically is 2 copies of Secret Gear 5 Luffy. This card is really, really funny because you can trigger leader ability and, well, ramp up to another 6 or 7 Don, of which I will show you in a moment. He does trigger leader ability. He can ramp. I do, however, feel myself only wanting to play 1 of him because I only resolve him just that once. We are now onto the Straw Hat events, and obviously you're going to see definitely this card. 4 copies of Gum Gum Giant. Oh my god, this card is literal crack. I can't understand what Bandai was thinking when they were making a 1-drop Radical Beam that essentially replaces itself. In this deck, it's a lot different because you don't get the Don back from something like 5-drop Kid because, well, you don't play him. But he's still just as strong. It still allows you to work around your own shortcomings as such. It is definitely not the worst card in the world, as there are sometimes cards you do want to filter out. Then finally, as a one-of event, we have 1 copy of Gum Gum Lightning. Originally, I was playing 2 of this and 1 top knot, mainly for the fact that I only had 1 of it at the time. Now it is the other way around. I don't see myself needing this more than once. However, I do want to keep it in over 3 top knot because I do feel like a searchable removal that also triggers leader ability for a 6k power or less is not that bad. Now we are on to the what's considered the non-engine, or the subsidiary, I would suppose. We are on probably one of the best cards in this deck when you can get it to work properly, and that is 4 copies of Black Maria. Black Maria in this deck is significantly better, as if you don't happen to have Zora on your 3-Don turn, you can easily play her, use her ability to ramp out 5, put back as however many as you need, then you can trigger leader ability to ramp 2 Don. And well, it's a 2k, so what's not to love about it? We are on to the very big high end, and well, some of the more weirder tech choices, I would suppose. That is 4 copies of Gecko Moria. I'm not saying this card is weird, I'm saying some of the other cards that are coming up are a little bit spicy. This card doesn't do as much as it does in something like Black Yellow Luffy, Lucci, or any other deck that can play it. However, you can get some really good value off of this card, as you can, well, trigger leader ability in some specific ways that I will show you. Then, the big motherfucker himself, we have 3 copies of 9-drop Kaido. I do like 9-drop Kaido a lot, as him alongside Black Maria is incredibly strong because you can just ramp up the 5 Don you happen to put back for his effect. He can also KO a Sabo if it's the following turn, a Boa, a Rebecca, you'll start to develop a pattern, and he is just a good card. However, I would definitely replace him with maybe 1 copy of 9-drop Rush Luffy, as there are some times that I would like to see him over Kaido. Now we are on to what is very much the difference in this deck, and that is 4 copies of STO8 Blocker Shirahoshi. This card is definitely a card. I don't know how I feel about it, all things considered. It is definitely a card I like a lot as well. As you can see on play, it gives up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost during the turn. This plus Sanji pretty much gets rid of most 8 to 10 cost cards, and well, it constitutes a blocker, it's got counter. What's not to love about it? Then another weird-ish card, I do see it played sometimes, and that is a 1-Mega Toy Soldier. This card does have obviously 2 uses. You can reduce the cost of characters, and well, it also does have a 2k counter. Sometimes you do bring this card back off of Moria in a very weird, sick and twisted way. I have had to a couple of times, but it's definitely not a bad card by any stretch of the imagination, and the best black 2k. Then obviously the final 2 cards are 2 copies of Top Knot. This card's really good at dealing specifically with Burgess in Blackbeard, because Burgess can't be destroyed by card effects if you happen to have your leader being Blackbeard type. But you can very much get around it with this. This is really good on your opponent's turn. Like, say if they, let's use Blackbeard for an example, they're attacking something like a Van Alga and they have a Burgess going. You get this off of, well, the trigger. You can activate it and bottom deck the Burgess itself. So, let me show you what the ramp and the curve is supposed to be for this deck. So, let's use this as a hypothetical way to show off the whole gimmick of the deck. So let's say turn 1 we played our lore and we managed to search for the previously mentioned 3-drop Zoro, of which on our 3-dot turn we will take the 3-don that we have available, tap it, and well, we will play the Zoro. We will then put 2 of the Don back as well. We need to put 2 or more back to activate leader ability. Zoro will then put 1 as rested. Now we will be able to trigger our leader ability. We will put 1 Don as active and another Don as rested. You can kind of see where this sort of thing goes. If you happen to have multiple characters at the same time that allow you to ramp, only one of them will allow you to get there. However, bigger characters such as, well, the Sanji, Kaido, and the Frankie that I had mentioned all earlier can do the exact same thing. So a lot of the time this is what you do on your, like, if you happen to go first, because you want to be able to ramp up to the big numbers as much as possible. So now let me show you what the whole Moria play would look like. So to show off this, well, the Moria combo in this deck, I'll progress a little bit further on in like a hypothetical game state as we had used earlier. Let's say, for example, we have obviously the 8 Don we need for Moria and obviously some of the cards that are in our trash. We can easily swing with the 2 characters and, well, the character and leader, should I say. But to show off, I will tap all 8 Don that we have available for, well, obviously the Moria. Now we can actually play out the Frankie that we had in the grave rested, as well as the 1-drop Searcher Lore. Now you can actually, well, kind of work in your own little way. Let's say we activate Lore's effect to search. We will see a Sanji, a Lore, a Giant, and a Zoro. For whatever reason, because obviously we have a Zoro already, what we can do is actually we take the Zoro and we bottom deck the rest of the cards that we happen to have here. Now we can actually trigger Frankie's effect. We'll put back 2 Don, discarding the Zoro that we had searched off of the lore, and draw 2 cards. Oh look, we had drew another Giant and a Shirahoshi, which then now, this obviously trigger leader ability, will put 1 active and 1 rested. So Moria in a lot of instances is essentially just a free ramp if you happen to have Frankie and Lore in the bin. It is entirely different depending on what game state you happen to be in, and well, a lot of the time you are trying to figure out a way to keep yourself at relatively high Don or try and keep your ramp out in multiple different ways. So let me now finally show you the Gear 5 Ramp 7 sort of combo bullshit. So let us obviously use another hypothetical situation that is realistic to happen. We've gone through the motions of the game. We are now down to 1 life. We have managed to attack with Moria and not much else really. What we can do, obviously, as you see, we have a Gear 5 Luffy in our hand. What we can do is tap all 10 of our Don and, well, play the said Gear 5 Luffy. On play, we will put 10 Don directly back to the Don deck and put all other characters we currently have to the bottom of the deck that is not itself. Now this is where things get very, very fun. That will actually trigger leader ability to put 1 active, 1 rested. We can then activate Gear 5's effect to put 1 to rest 1 to put another 1 active. Then what we can do is after that we can take the additional turn. We will restand our Don. We will then obviously draw for turn, or we have another searcher. Put 2 Don out. We are at 5 Don already. We can then use leader ability to rest 1 Don, and then obviously have another one to work with. A lot of this, so obviously we are now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6 Don. We can easily do this fairly easily if you happen to find the combo, which is not hard because you can search it off of lore, you can draw into it with Frankie or Gum Gum Giant. You could easily go into so many different avenues to play this, and well, yeah, that's what the Gear 5 combo is. And well, if you're already winning the game, this is definitely be sure to get you towards the lethal. So yeah, that's all from me, ladies and gentlemen. If you happen to enjoy this deck profile, which I hope you guys did, this is a very fun deck for me, well, consider dropping a subscription, drop a comment down below to obviously have a discussion with myself and the rest of the community. Be civil about it as well. We are all adults, hopefully, maybe. And yeah, enjoy yourselves, enjoy this deck. If you happen to find anything different that you think works with this deck, let us know. Well, let me know, and I will be sure to try it. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your days. Have a good one, stay safe, and happy dueling.